Pete Davidson really has been everywhere lately, and maybe not in the right way. Could Pete have a shady side? Hey guys, I'm your host Lauren, and today we're going to be counting down the top 10 Pete Davidson red flags that we shouldn't have ignored. Let's get into it. Number 10, war veteran. Pete grabbed a lot of media attention after his appearance on SNL's Weekend Update segment. What really left fans upset was the comedian joking about the appearance of a candidate running for office. Backlash for the comments really started brewing as clips circulated from the segment where he mocks a Republican candidate who wears an eye patch. Dan Crenshaw was a former Navy SEAL who was running as the Republican candidate. Unfortunately, lost his eye after an explosion while serving in Afghanistan and is a combat veteran. In the segment, Pete joked about Dan, saying that he looks like a hitman in a movie. After seeing this, he seemed to realize what a mistake it was and said, "I'm sorry, I know he lost his eye in the war or whatever." Dan saw the segment and took to Twitter to share how this made him feel. He wrote, "Good rule in life. I try hard not to offend. I try harder not to be offended. That being said, I hope SNL recognizes that vets don't deserve to see their wounds used as punchlines for bad jokes." Many viewers came to the veterans' defense. One tweeted, "It made me sad to see our wounded veterans used as punchlines in a twisted hate fest on national TV shows in this way." Another commented back and added, "The fact that this so-called joke was approved by the entire staff of writers is horrific." Even Pete's co-stars weren't too pleased with the comment either, and Kean Thompson shared how he felt about this, admitted that it seemed he had gone too far with this one. He said, "My father's a Vietnam veteran, and personally I would just never go there. But it's tough when you're fishing for jokes." Pete did end up issuing an apology, but what did you guys think about that joke? Number 9, the engagement ring. People really started questioning the timeline of Pete buying Ariana's ring and maybe if it previously was meant to belong to someone else. After he got out of a 2-year relationship with CAZZIE David, it didn't take him long to move on to Ariana Grande and propose. Proposing just weeks after dating is a pretty wild thing for anybody. He shared how he did it in an interview not long after and admitted, "We were in bed hanging. After watching a movie, I was like, 'Will you marry me?' It was dope." It ended up lasting not too long though, and the two ended up breaking it all off after about 5 months, leaving many to believe, when did he actually get that ring? Celebrity jeweler Greg Yuna revealed that Pete first reached out for the nearly $100,000 engagement ring. Greg shared, "Pete called me at the end of May and said, 'I'm getting a ring and this is what I want.' He didn't tell me who it was for, but he told me to keep it a secret." This is definitely weird considering Pete and CAZZIE broke up May 16, 2018, so it didn't take long to get engaged to Ariana. Could the ring have initially been meant for CAZZIE? CAZZIE seemed to take this whole thing in stride though, and after they announced their engagement, she posted on Instagram saying, "Been in Africa, what did I miss?" Number 8, pushing a fan. Just recently, a video published by TMZ came out showing Pete pushing a fan that looked to be getting a little bit too excited to see him. The man appeared to approach from behind and put his arm around him. Continuing to appear to get into his personal space, Pete ended up pushing the man off him, then shaking his head, looking to tell him to knock it off. Before this went down, Pete reportedly was very excited to be there and looked to be in pretty good spirits. Many fans did seem to be on Pete's side though, agreeing that no one should be getting in anyone's personal space. One fan wrote, "In all other clips, I've seen that guy in there trying to grab at him. He was obviously annoying him for a while." Another added, "Being touched without permission warrants it." Others were kind of unsure though, commenting on the man's age as well as how hard the push looked to be. Another viewer commented on the clip on TikTok saying, "If he was a 19-year-old female, he wouldn't have cared." Number 7, the tattoos. How soon is too soon to get a tattoo for your significant other, in your opinion? For Pete, it looks like any time is the right time. Pete started getting tattoos for his then girlfriend Kim Kardashian pretty early on. When Kim was asked about it, she shared on the Ellen show, "He has a few new ones." And I'm like, oh, that's cute, but that's what tattoo people do, right? They get tattoos of what's going on in their life. Pete got a few tattoos of Kim, with one even being in celebration of Kim passing the baby bar. He got a tattoo that said, "My girl is a lawyer." But the one that really made fans concerned was the tattoo of her kid's initials. The tattoo in his neck read KNSCP, which looks to be for Kim and her 4 kids that she had with her ex-husband Kanye. Fans considered this the ultimate red flag, with one writing, "Branding your girl of a few months' name on your body is weirdo behavior." Another added, "These are children, creepy beyond belief." Number 6, we have the Manchester joke. A joke that really seemed to miss the mark was when Pete joked about the Manchester bombing, which happened at his then girlfriend Ariana Grande's concert. 22 people passed away due to a homemade explosion outside the arena after Ariana's concert. Pete made a joke on SNL saying that she must know just how famous she really is now, explaining that Britney Spears didn't have an attack at any of her concerts. A parent of one of the victims that lost their life came forward to share just how horrible this joke was, and said, said, "For anyone to joke about the situation is disgusting, and I think he should publicly apologize for it." She continued on by saying, "The families will find it equally as disgusting. We don't need to hear jokes about it." The parents even stressed how horrifying this joke must be to hear for Ariana, considering it was made by her then boyfriend. Following the intense backlash, Pete's representative came forward and explained that no joke is off limits for him. They said he is a comedian, no subject is off limits. Number 5, Staten Island. Pete has been pretty open about how he feels about his hometown of Staten Island, and it's not great. He answered the question about how he feels about his hometown and responded by saying, "F them all, they all suck. They have nothing to do with me or my success. It's a terrible borough filled with terrible people. A tidal wave could take out Staten Island and I wouldn't even move in my sleep." So it sounds decently harsh to many. Pete tried to explain that people should see more humor in it, and shared it was a joke, a serious joke. You know when you're joking but you mean it. Clearly not much is going to change his mind about Staten Island, and I'm sure for the locals that feeling is mutual. Number 4, CAZZIE David. CAZZIE David is known for a lot of things, her dad being Larry David, being a web series creator, author, etc. But the main thing people have been associating her with is having dated Pete Davidson. When the two broke up after about 2.5 years, CAZZIE came out with an essay collection titled "No One Asked for This," revealing the aftermath of a breakup like this. She shared that the two took a brief break from their relationship in 2018 until she quickly backpedaled and realized it wasn't what she wanted, and she really did want to be with him. She admitting to calling the comedian just days later to work out their issues, but he told her that he was the happiest he had ever been without her. Reportedly, just 2 days after this phone call, he texted her to officially put an end to the relationship. Allegedly, within 24 hours of that, she became aware that Pete was already moved on and with Ariana Grande, and she saw a photo posted showing that he had covered his tattoos, which were originally inspired by her. The tattoos included a cartoon portrait of CAZZIE as well as her name on his ring finger. To add salt to the wound, it was only a few weeks after the breakup that he was engaged to Ariana. 2 years after this heartbreak, CAZZIE recalls the breakup as being the really pivotal moment in her life, and even said in her essay, "Writing about it has caused me a ton of anxiety, especially because I talk so much about hating the attention that it brought me. But there's nothing that's going to be worse than what I already experienced with that." Number 3, the car crash. Pete Davidson found himself in trouble with the law after crashing his car with his rumored girlfriend in the passenger seat just earlier this March. He was behind the wheel of a Mercedes and speeding down the Flats neighborhood of Beverly Hills. Pete ended up crashing his car into a home in the neighborhood, scaring the teenager who was home alone at the time. According to the girl, the sound was so intense that she believed that she was actually in the middle of an earthquake. The homeowner told TMZ that the car hit the house just outside of the living room, causing damage to the outer wall. But luckily no one was hurt. For now, it looks like the owners are still waiting on a full report from the police before they plan on turning it over to their insurance company. But how does something like this even happen? Allegedly, Pete lost control while speeding when he jumped a curb and crashed into the house. Looks like the case is being reviewed by the LA County District Office, and Pete could soon face criminal charges. Number 2, TACS. Another joke that Pete made during the Weekend Update segment on SNL that really didn't land is the Tic Tac joke. While Pete was engaged briefly to Ariana, he would discuss her periodically on the show. During this segment, he was talking to the host, Colin Jost, about how different his life was since he got engaged. And though most of the jokes were pretty well received, one really didn't sit well with viewers. He said during the episode, "Last night I switched her birth control with Tic Tacs. I believe in us and all, but I just want to make sure she can't go anywhere." Viewers took to Twitter to talk about their outrage. One wrote, "Pete Davidson has been pretty funny, except for the birth control swapped with Tic Tacs joke." They went on to write, "Do not mess with a woman's birth control. We need that stuff." Another added writing, "That TikTok birth control joke was gross." Others stated that they believed this comment was misogynistic and that this wasn't something to joke about whatsoever. Pete has always been known to push the boundaries on comedy though, so this joke really wasn't a surprise to his fans. Number 1, the outburst. Pete was the cause of a pause to production on his new comedy show after he reportedly had a meltdown on set. It is reported that Pete threw 2 candles through the window and a cup of coffee at the walls. Because of this situation, it's been claimed that the production team had to eventually ask the star to take some time away. Initially, it was reported that the comedian was looking to take some time to focus on himself. The Sun made an update that Pete was actually under quite a bit of stress and everything was just becoming way way too much for him to handle. A few believe that this could be a reaction to when he split up with his then-girlfriend Kim Kardashian. The split is speculated to have ended because of conflicting schedules and the inability to see each other, and it just wasn't seeming to work long distance. Regardless of why, reports claim that the outburst must have been pretty bad considering they pushed Pete to take some time off, which is said to be very unusual for the team to allow. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. What do you think about Pete? Did you miss these red flags too? Let us know in the comments below and we'll see you in the next one.